Francis Teresa, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the new Superman movie. I watched it back in July. With it releasing to digital, I was like, well, it might be nice to share my thoughts on it. If you like these kind of videos from me, I try to upload at least once a week. If you want to see more videos from me, I typically do more book content, but I'll throw in a movie or a TV show or like a video game review in here. So if you want to see more of that, let me know and I can always just start integrating a little more. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So if you haven't seen any of my like reviews on like video games or my TV shows or my movie reviews, I don't really focus on like the technical aspects in terms of like the CGI, the fight scenes, the green screens, the like more nitty-gritty things that someone who has studied film can for sure do. But I have a bachelor's degree in creative writing, so I can talk to you guys about the stories, the characters, the arcs. So that's the kind of video you're looking for. Perfect. Superman starts us off a little bit like in media res. If you guys don't know what that means, I've seen it as a literary term, but I know it's also used in film, which just means in the middle of things. I don't remember the exact translation, but we have him start in the middle of kind of like his big battle with Lex Luthor. Lex, his obsession with Superman has gotten to a point where he has studied Superman's every move and has a weird little person that you'll learn about in the movie who can counter all of Superman's moves no matter what he tries to do. So he's stuck in this gigantic battle with Lex Luthor, and on the other side of that, as he's battling this, more information about his lineage, his being from Krypton, comes out, and we see him kind of struggle with two big questions that he has to answer for himself, and then also show an example for with the people that he's protecting. And that is he going to be a god on Earth? Is he going to be someone that's going to try to rule over the normal people, so to speak, and try to rule dominion over them, a la Injustice Superman? Or are we going to see that he is just, despite his powers, he was raised to be human, is taught to be human, and is just a man who is trying to do good for the sake of being good? Obviously, this question does pose has a lot of ties into the current socio-political and economic situation that we are currently living in. Now, moving on to the trigger warnings. It's a PG-13 movie, pretty sure. So it's not too crazy in terms of trigger warnings, but I thought I'd just throw it up there. Obviously there's violence, there's gore, there's genocide. Just keep that in mind if you're gonna watch it. Starting off with the characters. Now, when they first announced this movie and kind of told us how many characters were in this thing, I was just a little concerned, because we definitely do have some big hitters here. We have Clark Kent, we have Mama and Papa Kent, we have Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, the entirety of Daily Planet, Cat Graham, all that stuff. We got Kara, we got Mr. Terrific, we got Guy Jones, we got Hawkgirl, we got Ultraman, Metamorpho, and Engineers. Oh, and Crypto. These are a lot of big hitters in like the DC universe. Like, if you've like just dipped your toes into the DC universe as a whole, some of these names are gonna sound really familiar. It's a lot of characters to introduce into kind of like, it's not an origin story per se. So it just kind of poses that question in there, whether or not this is gonna balance out or if we're gonna lose out on certain characters, specifically Superman, to be able to accommodate for this large cast and crew. However, I think James Gunn, obviously we know him from Guardians of the Galaxy, so he is used to having a large cast of characters to balance out. I think he did a really good job balancing out each character. Each of them kind of got their big moment, even from the largest characters to the smallest characters, both in size and in importance in the show, got their own kind of large moment within the movie that gave them like a spotlight. It reminds you that they're there and they have an actual purpose rather than to fill space, but also didn't detract from the full-on story, which is us trying to figure out who Superman is while he is also figuring this out with us. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy, they all have like a main thing they're working on. You know, they're a group. It's not like we're watching, it's not titled Gamora and we're seeing Guardians of the Galaxy just happen to be there. We're seeing like, obviously, like Superman is an overarching story, but then we have the side of the Justice Gang in there, the side of his Kryptonian heritage, and I feel like James Gunn did a really good job of balancing everything. And I feel like if you are someone who's trying to, I don't know, like write something, whether it be in media or like in TV, like the screen, theater, or like novel, even a D&D campaign where you have a larger group of people to balance, this is definitely kind of on a masterclass of how to balance characters and give them their own moment while not fully detracting from the plot or making one character feel less than the other. But again, James Gunn, I think, is really good at balancing that. Now, I can't go talking about Superman without talking about Lois Lane. I love Lois Lane in this movie. I feel like the iterations of her, I see her very much like as a powerhouse in her own right. She's always very like witty and on top of things and just like very intuitive. And we get to see that a lot with Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane. I feel like she had a lot of sass in her. It made sense for her to be acting this way. She's a general's daughter, she's very punk, she's very distrusting of the information being presented to her at the moment, and uses her own wits and her own ability to think to process this information before she puts out her own opinion into the world. And like, yeah, she's human, and she's not a fighter. She can't be like Clark or Mr. Terrific, but she does have her brain and her empathy, which I think really takes the spotlight a little bit in terms of like just seeing that internal conflict she has with like fully trusting Clark, but then also knowing that there could be something that makes her feel something's off. And I think it shows up really nicely in the movie. And I think her using her wits and her ability to kind of like rally people together really kind of balanced out Superman's like own ability to rally people together. It's very much in her own little world, and I think it balances out Superman's kind of like plotline a little well too, because she's human and she's going up against a lot of these like very superpowered people and is managing to do so simply because she's a smart, intelligent woman who knows how to use her resources to her best advantage. I also thought Clark's struggle of who he wants to present himself with, like who he wants to present himself to the world versus the information that he was given that has made the world turn against him, was a very human struggle. It's something that I don't think I've really seen we've never really seen outside because of the Snyderverse Superman, where he is a god on Earth. He does act like a god on Earth. He's very aware of his powers, and that is who he is. Whereas Clark was very much raised to be human. He's meant to see people as people with him rather than he is a step above. And I find that his struggle is not only very human but very relatable. There's a line that Papa Kent says that says, parents aren't here to teach you who you're supposed to be. Parents are here to help you figure out what to do and watch you be a fool of yourself along the way, or something like that. And I think it's very, it just kind of brings me back to those like DC like animated universe moments where we see Superman, but we also see Clark, and Clark is this very human person, which balances out Superman's supery because he has Clark's mentality, which is that he's human above all else. He's a person above all else, regardless of his extraterrestrial abilities. And I thought that struggle that he had was very well thought out, and you get to really see Clark move through those emotions as he tries to really figure out who is he? Who does he want to be? Is that something he can end the day with and be proud of, or is it something that he's just going to be kind of like lost with? Like who is at the end of the day Clark Kent? Who is at the end of the day Superman? There's all those like philosophical things that like comes with an almost like coming of age movie, as I would say Superman kind of is. Moving on to the themes and I guess messaging of the movie. One of the bigger things here is just like of the overarching movie is just kindness, and the act of being kind is a big thing in this movie. I think something that we lost a lot of in the more modern day superheroes is the whole point of them is that they're doing these things because they're kind people, and they're doing it not for fame, not for notoriety, not for any larger reason other than that they have this ability and they're gonna do good with it. And I think another big messaging in the movie is that in a world that tells you to lay down and not do anything, to be complacent, to accept everything, being kind and doing small or large acts of kindness in itself will move mountains. And being kind and caring about your people makes you just as much as a superhero as the people flying in the air. And I think that's like messaging that we really need to hear given the socio, political, and economic situation in the world right now. Hope is also another huge theme. I think we forget, again, Snyderverse, Injustice, Superman has love Henry Cavill, but that thread has done irreparable damage to Superman's idea that he is supposed to be a figure of hope. I think, forget which movie it is. It might be Snyderverse, but he is supposed to be a symbol of hope first and foremost. He is supposed to bring hope to the people who are in trouble, to the people around him. And I think the messaging of being hopeful and carrying that hope with you and allowing other people to be hopeful alongside with you to hope and work toward a better future is also like something that people need to hold on to, and I think it was a really good message in this theme as well. We see that a lot with the soundtrack specifically. This movie left me feeling hopeful in the best possible way. I think it's been a long time since I have left a superhero movie feeling better than when I came in. Identity is also a big theme in this movie. We see Clark really struggle with it a lot. It's his thing in this movie. Just to see him define what it means to be Clark and what it means to be Superman and whether or not the Venn diagram is a circle. We also see a similar parallel with the Justice Gang, or the beginnings of the Justice League. They are here to support and fight crime and do good. But then when it comes down to stopping a genocide that is supposed to not be happening because of an authoritarian regime, they kind of take a backseat and say, well, we don't have authority. We kind of also see the set of superheroes start to form their identity of who they want to be and how they want to operate in this world. Moving on to the last thing, which is second to last thing, I guess, which is pacing in the plot. I thought it was paced really well. It moved along pretty well. I didn't have any issues where it felt clunky or it felt like disjointed at all. As I said in the beginning, we started off in the middle of the story here, and thankfully James Gunn and the writers did a very good job of being able to fill us in with the information that we are given, or the information that we need to be able to vault the story forward, and we're not sitting here trying to piece together random things that we didn't really understand. I never felt confused with the information that we lacked while we were receiving more information, and on the other hand, I also never felt like we were being spoon-fed or like info dumped with the information that we were being given to fill in the lack of information that we have. The way everything unfurled felt like a very organic move. Everything happened all felt very comic booky in the best way possible. Like the plot itself felt like a good comic book or hero movie and not a superhero movie. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like with superhero movies nowadays, all of Marvel, I leave feeling more dread than I should watching a superhero movie when they save the world. Perhaps that is a problem for a different director. While this isn't an origin story in the sense that we see Superman learn how he can fly or stop a car from hitting you, we see an origin story in the sense of what makes Superman Superman and what are his ideals and his driving force to be a superhero are. And I think it's an origin story, coming of age kind of scenario that works out really well. Moving on to the last thing, which is my overall thoughts. I love this movie. I cried, I cheered, I fell in love with all the characters, even Guy Jones. The only thing that I really wanted more of was I wish we got a little bit more of Superman's involvement in the Baravian War. I would have really liked to have seen Superman put a metaphorical dictator against a cactus to scare him. But I also understand why he wasn't in that spot, because the Justice Gang had to fill it out for him and have him realize the people actually do rely on him and see him as a force of good of all the things he's done. Like I've mentioned a lot, this is the first time in a long time where I've left a superhero movie feeling not hopeful for a franchise, but the people. Like, I've never felt so hopeful of what people are capable of doing. Like, in this world where everything is filled with hatred, I've never felt more hopeful and feeling like people can still do good. And that's saying a lot. Like I said, I like the fact that they're not being presented as gods on earth. Like, yeah, they're super powerful, they're super rich in some instances, and super removed from everything. But I think James Gunn did a really good job of bringing back that human element that we lost in current superhero movies, where it feels like it's superheroes against superheroes and just not feeling like a superhero movie, but more like a video game almost. I also highly recommend this movie if you're missing like genuine superhero movies. Like if you're sitting here like me rewatching Young Justice, rewatching Justice League Unlimited, all that stuff, highly recommend it. But that is it for all my thoughts on Superman. If you like this video, let me know in the comments, and until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.